Sigenergy very quickly became one of Australia's most talked about batteries. After a year of installing it, do we still think it's worth it, or was it just hype? G'day everyone, Dan and Matt here from GI Energy. Today we're talking about Sigenergy. It's been a little over a year since we installed the first one, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Quite a bit over a year since we installed the first one, but because it was a newer product to market, it took us a while to get comfortable with it. So it's been a little over a year since we've been installing it in a mass product kind of way. So during that time, there's been a lot happen in the industry. Obviously the battery rebate has come and volume just went through the roof.
Yeah.
So this video is for anybody who's considering Sigenergy and wants to know whether it is actually going to be worth it for them. So we're going to go through the good and the bad, and we're going to try and be as honest as we can about the pros and cons, because there's pros and cons of any product out there. We're going to go through the product recall that they had and explain what happened there. We're going to go through the support, the new battery that's coming out right now, and then basically who is Sigenergy for and who should avoid it, and then ultimately whether we think it is actually still worth it. Sigenergy came to the market with a very innovative product, and first and foremost, it just ticks so many boxes, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's a fantastically energy dense battery, so it takes up a very small area for how much energy can go into it. The blackout protection is fantastic for single and three phase. It's got the very different electric vehicle charging options, including a DC charger, which is a fast charger basically, and at the time no other battery had that incorporated into their ecosystem. The safety features were new and very impressive, and everything about it seemed great, but it was quite new. So we installed one and made sure we were comfortable with it. And I guess one of the things that comes up more often than not is, obviously it's a new product, and is it for me, or should I look somewhere else? So yeah, let's go through the good and the bad stuff. I guess I've covered a bit of that there.
You've just named you've named all the good stuff anyway, mate. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you love it, don't
Yeah.
you? You've a lot of your clients have had Sig installed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you recommend it?
I think, as you said off the bat there, it just ticks so many boxes.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've installed hundreds and hundreds of these batteries. A couple of our colleagues here have Sigenergy systems at home now as well. So we obviously practice what we preach as well. So I think initially it was more just because it pretty much did everything that most of our clients were asking for. So they're asking for a larger battery capacity than we were generally installing pre-subsidy.
Yeah.
So ultimately you could do that in a smaller physical size. So easily ticks that first box there in terms of just getting, as you said, a really dense, energy dense battery. Single phase, three phase, existing solar, the way it AC couples to existing systems, especially on three phase, because on single phase there can occasionally be some inverter limitations from the local electricity distributor.
Yeah.
But even then, really simple way of integrating with it as well. And I think that's what I really love, is that the fact that you can integrate a hot water system, a third-party EV charger, a pool heater, ultimately probably nearly whatever, each home likely has one of those things. You can actually run that through the smart port of the Sigenergy gateway and then have full control over that system. So if it's your hot water, you can heat your hot water tank from excess solar directly through the gateway. You don't need another device or anything else. So we always talk about that ecosystem, trying to keep things as simple as possible for obviously causing us few issues long term.
Yeah.
The gateway as well for full backup power is just fantastic. We had a lot of people that installed the Sigenergy system in southeast Queensland before the cyclone. Fortunately, obviously lost power for an extended period of time, and it worked great. And I think that was really for me where it solidified, all right, this thing's pretty awesome. So as you said, the safety features, a lot of people want to know that the battery's safe, and this is pretty much as safe as you can get on the market. And then the EV, having the options of an AC and a DC charger, the opportunity to have V2X, so vehicle to grid, where you could potentially bring in the EV at home as part of the whole ecosystem and either trade power out of the car, which is really in its infancy and growing now. So I've never known the hype around a battery like this. And I guess on the flip side, when there is that hype, you get some hate about anything. So we want this to be balanced.
Yeah.
And ultimately, for all those great features there has to be a balance. And I guess that probably came with the recall on some of the single phase controllers.
Yep.
And obviously they got a fair amount of heat from other manufacturers because it was just a juggernaut, really. And it was still something that certainly needs to be talked about. So
yeah, 100%. We've spoken a lot about the good points.
Yeah.
We mentioned there that they're a newer company. That's probably one of the negatives. And then, as you said, the recall was not a highlight.
Yeah.
They handled it reasonably well.
Yeah.
Not all of those controllers have been replaced yet.
Yeah.
It's been, what, 5 months or so?
At the time of recording, pretty much almost.
Yeah, around that time.
Yeah.
So I guess we knew it would take a while.
Yeah.
But that's one of the cons. But they did handle it well.
Yeah.
And they're replacing everybody's controller
on single phase
single phase
and only certain sizes. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Any of the affected controllers in that recall, which was a voluntary recall, are all being replaced with an extended warranty.
Yeah.
It's taken a while, but we knew it'd take a while. Obviously, as a consumer, that's it's frustrating.
Yes.
But the systems aren't turned off; they're still operating. They do have a mechanism to ramp down if they were potentially getting to that stage where it could be a risk.
Yes.
So that's a safety feature that's built in remotely, but they have handled it reasonably well. That leads me on to the support generally. And it's been an obviously very challenging time for any battery manufacturer because we're seeing 400 plus, or for Sigenergy, a lot more than 400% increase in volume.
Yes.
They've managed to keep that stock flow going really well. They haven't managed to ramp up their support as well as we would have liked.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be too hard on them there because it was almost an impossible task to do that.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been dreadful.
No.
It's just when you're comparing to the gold standard, which is Sungrow, they don't come close, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They are still building that team. So as I say, I don't want to be too hard on them, but I think it's fair to say that we could do with some more support.
And I think that's probably fair for a lot of manufacturers as well. As you said, you mentioned Sungrow, that is the benchmark.
Yeah.
Their support's always been sensational.
Yeah.
When needed, and it's not that often. And I guess with Sig, from installing hundreds and hundreds now for more than a year, we've required less and less support because obviously you just get more familiar with the product. You might have a real, unique installation with the battery at the shed or somewhere really far away from the switchboard. So there has been some good support there, but it certainly could have been better, and it still is improving. But as you said, I think any battery in Australia where things just went nuts out of nowhere, it was so difficult to do that. So that, I don't think that's a harsh comment. It's just you've got to pick something out there anyway.
Yeah.
And moving forward, obviously, once things sort of are still very busy, but probably plateau rather than just go, go, go.
Yeah.
It'll obviously catch up like anything does in that time. So it's not been a concern of anything. It's probably just been setting the expectation that we might need an extra day or two to get the answer we need.
Yeah.
And we want that to be as soon as it can possibly be.
Yeah.
So they will get to that level for sure because of how popular the battery is. It has to. And as you said on the recall, most manufacturers of batteries in Australia have had some form of recall over the past 5, 6, 7 years.
Yep.
This one was a voluntary recall. It has taken longer than a lot of people would hope. I don't think that's unfair to say. But to balance that out, it also happened at the busiest time ever in the industry, just before Christmas, with colossal wait times for installations. So there needs to be a bit of balance there as well. But yeah, it's for any recall, it always takes longer than most people hope for, I think.
I think so, yeah. So before we go into who should buy one and who shouldn't, they have a new battery.
Yeah.
At the time of recording, it's sort of coming through. It hasn't actually been officially approved yet. They're calling it the 10.
Yeah.
But it's not really a 10, is it?
No, I guess that's sort of what we've tried to explain to a few clients in the past week or two, is the original 5.0 and 8.0 battery models are being superseded by a 6 and a 10.
Yeah.
They've been available in the UK, New Zealand and a few other places. We've had a lot of people ask for them anyway. But as you mentioned, the 10 is actually closer to a 9 kilowatt hour usable battery. So we want to be upfront about that. And when we're providing a proposal, if you had 3 battery modules, we're basing that closer to a 27 kilowatt hour usable capacity not a 30,
Yeah.
because ultimately that will obviously change how the system works that little bit. So again, we do need to do that right, the design consultation correctly. And that's not uncommon. A lot of other batteries' usable capacity is slightly lower. I think it's just because the 8 to the 10s have this 25% jump on the nameplate, it's not obviously reflected in the usable capacity. But it will mean you can get a larger amount of storage if you need to. So you can still do the 6 modules in a stack or 5 with the DC charger. So you can now exceed 50 kilowatt hours in a stack and have a charger, which is pretty cool.
That's very cool. Yeah.
And ultimately, if you need a more modest amount of storage, you could do an 18 kilowatt hour battery with the inverter, and it's only 850 high.
Yeah, it's incredible.
You know what I mean? That's half of me. it's you know what I mean? Obviously, say it's pretty small, but now we'll need to say it's pretty big. So that will obviously flow through into new installations, and that will supersede the previous model. If you have an existing Sigenergy system installed, one of the great points we didn't even mention earlier is the modules are installed in parallel. So if you have 2 8 kilowatt hour modules or an 8 and a 5, whatever combination, you can add a 6 and a 10 nameplate to that system at any time. Each battery module works independently, gives you its full usable capacity. That 5 years from now could be a 12 or something else ultimately. So a great point about that is you can increase the capacity as your needs change over time. So I just think it's a real thorough system that, as we said from the start, ticks so many boxes.
And just to sort of dig a little deeper on that, it's important for not just if you're mixing and matching the size of the module, but also if you're installing any period of time, but let's say 3 or 4 years after the first install, those batteries that were installed first will not be at their maximum capacity anymore. They'll be obviously depleted a bit. So if you then installed a module of the same size, it would then be dragged down to the existing install capacity, but not with Sigenergy because they're wired differently. So that's a pretty big selling point that we didn't mention, as you said. So who is it for and who's not for? I guess for me, when I'm doing that consultation with clients, my question is always, here's the trading history, here's the management team, this is the pros and cons of the battery. Are you comfortable with that company? And for people that are, it's almost everybody it kind of ticks the box for. The only other thing I would say is, depending on the location, I don't feel like the external casing on the Sigenergy is as robust as some other batteries. So depending on where it's going, I might try and push someone gently towards a different product if it's going in somewhere that might be more exposed than we'd like it to be. I'm not saying it can't go outdoors, because it obviously can. It's rated, it's warranted, and we do put them outside. But that's the two things really that I talk to people about. And if there's any discomfort there around the trading history, I'd normally push them towards one of those other brands. How about you?
I think that's pretty fair. I guess we have that conversation around, are they looking for what I would consider here a more technologically advanced product in terms of the integrations with, as I mentioned, pool heater, car charger, hot water, heat pump, that most households now have one or more of those, or will have in the future. Are they looking for that sort of all-in-one design that they can expand? Or, as you said, are they feeling more comfortable with a manufacturer that's been around for 20, 30 years? And that's really what gives them the peace of mind, because it's an awesome product. I think for most people, it definitely ticks so many boxes there. The only time where we might shuffle to a different product is more around the time in business. And obviously now they've moved to a stage with tens of thousands of installations in Australia alone. They're really popular in Europe, Africa, all over the place, New Zealand. So they're growing and growing. And I don't see any reason why they don't just continue that trajectory, because it does, as we said, tick so many boxes. So it's likely suits most homeowners, really. It's more just coming down to that one fact of, okay, love the product, bit of a concern on trading history, time in business, let's maybe look at this. Or do the pros there outweigh that one potential negative, because it suits everything that you have in your home, and what you may in the future adjust some of your home appliances to. So it's not just let's get a battery installed and then 5 years down the line think of something else. Like if this is designed right, it's there for 10, 15 plus years.
Yeah.
So take the time to make sure it is what you need to do.
Yeah, 100%. So I think if anybody's watching this whole video, they could read between the lines there whether or not we think it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's a yes from us. We've been installing them for a long time. We've installed many hundreds of them, and we still have a lot of faith in the product. The new battery's great for all the reasons you said before, and I don't think they're going to stop innovating.
No.
As always, we're going to put our battery guide in the description to this video. It's a free downloadable resource that you can click and download. A lot of people that are looking for a battery or have recently purchased one find that quite useful. If you've got direct questions, if we've missed anything or any comments that you have, please do hit us up in the comments section. We read all of them and we do our best to reply to them all. If you would like to get in touch with us for a free consultation, that's what we're here for. Ultimately, we're solar installers, so we'd love to help. But if not, hopefully you've got some value from this video, and thank you very much for taking the time to watch.
Thank you.